I'm Sal Henley. You might know of me from the Slimming World Golden Bus Tour last year. We had a great time in the summer, travelling around to 59 locations and coming to see our members. But now we're at home like you are, and some of you are doing Slimming World virtual groups each week, which is great, but we want to bring you something else. What is it that we're bringing you? We're bringing you a store cupboard cooking. I'm not filming this, as you can tell. I'm in my sister's kitchen, but I have three nieces behind the camera, actually on their mobile phones, with some standard lights as well. So nothing complicated, and our recipes won't be either. So we're going to do things like a chili con carne, we're going to do store cupboard favourites, a little frittata, anything we can find in our fridge or freezer to make food really interesting for you while you're stuck at home. We're going to start with a 3-bean chilli and we're going to get cooking. So we have a mixed bean chilli. It could be a 3 or 4 bean mixed chilli. We're just going to use what you hopefully have got in the bottom of your fridge and your store cupboard. So I've got a can of tomatoes, and then I've got a couple of cans of mixed beans. Now depending, you might have a can of chickpeas or pinto beans. Even baked beans would work really well in this. Then I've got courgettes. Now I could only get baby courgettes today, so you can just cut those up or grate them. It's a really great way of getting more vegetables in without the children knowing. An onion, I've just chopped that up as well. We're going to use a pepper, which I'll show you how to chop. And then some garlic. This is a great garlic bulb. It's large garlic, so it takes less time to chop it. And then we've got 4 spices. We've got chili powder, and we've got some cumin seeds. I don't have any ground cumin, so I'm just going to use cumin seeds. Ground coriander, if you've got coriander seeds, just bash them with a can and that will break them up. And smoked paprika, but if you haven't got that and you've got paprika, great. Bit of Tommy puree and a vegetable stock cube, and then you'll have a really tasty meal. So I'll show you how we do that. I'm going to show you a quick tip with the pepper. What you do is you take the pepper and you lie on its side. You take the bottom off, then you rotate it and take the top off. And then what you do is you cut down the side of it, okay? So there's a little cut in there. That's where your knife goes in. So you lay it on its side, then you put your knife in like so. Put your hand, the palm of your hand on there. You're using that as the momentum to go backwards, and you're going to cut through all the flesh and membrane and get the seeds out. So top off, bottom, cut down the side, and then you use the momentum to take out all the core and the membrane. So what you end up with is a whole piece of pepper that's easy to chop however you like. So you can fine dice that or cut it into strips, anything you like. I prefer sweet peppers like yellow, orange and red. I'm not a big fan of green ones, but the time I would use green ones is probably a chili con carne actually. So maybe for this recipe it would be great if you've got a green one hanging around. Okay, so I'm just chopping those up. And then we're going to just do the garlic. Now everyone loves a garlic press, apart from me. I just find them too fiddly, and so a little technique I use is, first of all, buy the largest garlic you can buy. The reason being is it's less to peel and less fiddly. So I'm going to just use 2 large bulbs. Now what I'm going to do is just chop the ends off where it attaches to the root, okay? And then I'm just going to give it a little smack, and what happens is that the garlic falls out just like that. So rather than pick out the paper, just do that again, you just sort of tap it with the heel of your hand. There's a bit there that's not great. And then what I do is I just generally chop that up a little bit. And then this does take a bit of practice, but then I use my knife and I just mush it against the board. If you're struggling to do this, get a sharp knife first of all, and then you could use a bit of salt on there, and it acts as an abrasive as well. And then that will help with that. And that's how you chop up garlic if you don't have a little press. We're then going to cook this all in a pan, so we'll show you that now. Okay, so we're going to cook this on a hob. So we've just got an Arga here. I'm using a non-stick pan. It really helps when you're cooking Slimming World meals. So this is 1 onion we're going to add into here. Okay, and then we're going to add in our pepper, which we chopped earlier. So this is a yellow one, but you could have a red one if you wanted to. And then that's obviously quite dry in there now, but I'm just going to add some water and cook it like that for about 10 minutes. And that water will evaporate off, and eventually all the natural sugars in the onion and pepper will come out and start to brown that up. So you will get flavour from the browning of those veg. So we'll just leave that for 10 minutes to cook down. This is the onion and pepper. Now you can see it's started to go brown naturally. The water's evaporated off. And now this is when you just dump everything else in. It's really easy to do. So I tend to put the spices in now so that they cook out a little bit. Really easy. So this is smoked paprika. I'm going to put a heaped teaspoon of that. Don't worry if you haven't got measuring spoons, just use a normal teaspoon, it's fine. I'm going to do a heaped teaspoon of coriander. Then cumin seeds. I actually prefer cumin seeds to ground cumin, if I'm honest. So I'm going to do heaped one of those as well. Now, depending on how hot you like it, adding whatever you fancy. I'm going to put in half a teaspoon of hot chili powder. But if you've got mild chili powder, then you just increase it to like a teaspoon or something like that. Then I'm going to add in the courgette. The reason I'm adding it in then is because it's nice if it's got a little bit of bite to it still. And we've got to add in that garlic that I chopped up. So we just love that in as well. Technical term there. And then this is where all the lovely store cupboard staples come in. So this is 2 cans of mixed beans in there. Like I said, baked beans have worked really well in here. Can of tomatoes, add that in. And then a bit of Tommy puree. It's about 2 tablespoons, which is 1, carefully measured, as you can see. And then just a vegetable stock cube. And you just crumble that in. I never add stock dissolved in water, because if you added, say, I don't know, a litre of vegetable stock, it's quite a lot of those stock cubes. It would be 4 of those to 1 litre of water, and that's way too salty. So that's why I just crumble it in like that. And we give that a good stir. Then here's a little tip, just take one of your cans and you just fill that up with about 400 mils of water. That takes 400 mils. And then you just give that a good stir. I'm going to season that up as well. So a bit of pepper and a nice, pinch of salt. Nearly dropped that. There we go. And then all you do is stir that in, and we leave it for 20 minutes. I mean, it can't be any more simple than that, can it? So we'll come back to it in a minute. So the crew are all my nieces. I've got 3 nieces. Soph's going to stand there and just give us a close-up. This is when it's 10 minutes into the cooking. You can see it's starting to thicken up, and all the courgettes are cooking a bit down now. So we'll give that another 10 minutes and we'll come back to it, and then it'll be fully cooked. So this is after 20 minutes. You can see it's nice and thick. And what I'm going to do is serve that with rice. But before we do that, I'm going to just chuck some freshly chopped coriander in there. If you haven't got any, just use dried coriander, that'll be fine. That's a good handful of chopped coriander. Stalks and all, don't waste anything. And then what I do is serve this with rice, or you can have it over jacket potato. It's got loads of free food in there already, but make sure you fill a third of your plate with vegetables or salad, which I'm going to do.